Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. At first, thanks my God who has created us very nicely, and then welcome to our listeners, those who are listening to my lecture. I am Ten.Kamruzzaman of Batagandi Sarkar Sahib Ali Abul Hussain Memorial Uच्च Vidyalaya. I discuss English second paper, class 9 and 10. Especially, I will discuss completing sentence. So, at first we know completing sentence. Completing sentence means some sentence, especially 5 sentences are given in the second paper, question number 7. 5 sentences are subordinate clause, that means complex sentence. There are 5 sentences which is included question. So, first of all, we know the clause and simple, complex, compounds according to structure. Here I mention 3 conjunction: though, although, even though. Though, although, even though are subordinate conjunction. Subordinate conjunction which is related subordinate clause, that means complex sentence. Though, although, even though mean in spite of something. In spite of something. First of all. Secondly, though, although, even though have a similar meanings. That means same meanings but different words. Actually, different conjunction, same meanings. Though, although, even though are used before subordinate clause. When we use conjunction though, although, even though, we use before subordinate clause. Next, though is more common than although. Even though means in spite of the fact. Next, even though is more emphasized than though and although. More emphasized, that means emphatic than though and although. Listeners, listen it very attentively, because though, although, even though same meanings but different slightly, even though, such as though, although, even though are used to combine or link to contrasting statements. When we see a sentence is formed by though, although and even though, which is beginning subordinate clause, and though, although is used middle of the sentence. There are 2 clauses, subordinate clause, main clause. If we use even though, though, although, it is used beginning of the subordinate clause. We use though, although, beginning of the subordinate clause, end of the subordinate clause, we have to use comma. Such as structure though, although, even though plus subordinate clause plus comma plus main clause. This is a this is a structure, or otherwise on the other hand we have to read another structure, main clause first of all, then we have to use conjunction though, although, even though, then subject subordinate clause. Listeners, you have to memorize or remember this structure two ways. First of you have to beginning the subordinate conjunction, subordinate clause plus comma plus main clause. Otherwise, you have to use main clauses though, although, even though, subject subordinate clauses. So, I write on the whiteboard completing sentence, though the man is poor. Though the man is poor. It is a subordinate clause. Someone wants to know what is subordinate clause. Subordinate clause means dependent clause. Though man is poor. Though man is poor, he is honest. We have to read here main clause. Though man is poor, he is honest. Here, though man is poor, subordinate clause. Other part of the sentence, main clause, which is not depend another clause. We know subordinate depend principal clause not depend another clause. So, subordinate clause and principal clause. One sentence, two parts. Subordinate clause meanings and principal clause meanings. Not same, different. That means opposite, contrasted clause. One clause contrasted another clause, such as though man is poor, he is honest. So, we have to use though. Though use beginning of the sentence and middle of the sentence. We know that if we use though beginning of the sentence, we have to find out subordinate clause. Then we have to put middle of the sentence, we have to put a comma. Then we have to write main clause. Listeners, it is important structure. We have to write this sentence another way. We have to use the middle of the sentence, such as he is honest. Though he is honest, though the man is poor. The man is poor. Understand? So, you have to remember it, this structure or that structure. You have to write two ways. If you follow any one, your sentence is correct. Suppose this sentence will be written in the second paper question 7, number B. Though the man is rich, what clause in the behind in the meanings? At first I think what part of the clause remain in this situation. We have to think the meanings of the subordinate clauses sentences. Then I try to write large part of the last other part of the clause. I know or we know, though is beginning subordinate clause, then we have to put principal clause. In this way we have to fill up, we have to complete the incomplete sentences. Though the man is rich, he is miser. What is miser? Miser means close-fisted man. Close-fisted man. So, here I indicate subordinate conjunction, subordinate clause, subordinate conjunction, subordinate clause, and other parts of the sentence principal clause, or another name is main clause, and another name is master clause. You have to remain one of them, it is correct. Understand? In this way you have to fill up the same sentence, any other sentence. First of all you have to remember that this rule, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7 and 8 structure. I hope you will understand clearly. I will try to my level best to teach you about use of conjunction though, although and even though. Now I can write use of even though. So you have to watch. Even though means in spite of the fact. Even though is more emphasized than though and although. Even though Mr. John had a lot of money. And dot. Listeners, you watch the sentence, incomplete sentence, one parts of the sentence are written on whiteboard and other parts of the are not seen in the board. So you first of all we have to understand this sentence meanings, then we try to contrasted meanings other parts of the sentence. So you have to find out what kinds of sentence it is. I can see even though is a conjunction, it is a subordinate clause, complex sentence. So subordinate clause related formed by subordinate conjunction. So I have to identify this part of the clause is subordinate clause. Now I will able to fill up other parts of the clause. We know before, if I found the subordinate clause beginning of the subordinate conjunction, other part is main clause or master clause or principal clause, and meanings contrasted and more stretch or emphasize or emphatic. Even though Mr. John had a lot of money, he leads a simple life. We can see, even though Mr. John had a lot of money, huge money, he's earned huge money, but he lives a very simple life, common people. This part of the sentence, main clause or master clause or principal clause, these meanings, and even though Mr. John had a lot of money, these meanings not same. One clause and another clause meanings contrasted, that means against, opposite meanings, and even had stretch, that means emphasize. In such of kind, this sentence we have to use even though. Another example, even though Bangladesh lost the cricket match, other parts of the clause remain unseen. First of all, we have to see subordinate clause which is written on whiteboard. Even though means in spite of the fact. I have already given the meanings and structure and other parts of the conjunction. Even though more stronger or more strong and more empathetic than though and although. In this way, and I think what is the meanings? Subordinate clause. Even though Bangladesh lost the cricket match, and other parts of the sentence, what will be here? I thinking sometimes which meanings is contrasted. The people of Bangladesh or people enjoyed. Very much. Actually, these meanings will be same, sad or pathetic or unhappy, but here we use even though. We know even though use contrasting clause, one clause, another clause, opposite meanings. Bangladesh lost the game, which is very pathetic or unhappy or sad or sadness. But here, people enjoyed very much. In this part of the main clause, meanings opposite subordinate clause. Here, we can see even though more empathetic. For this reason, we have to write another part of the main clause or principal clause or master clause. People enjoyed it, or the people of Bangladesh enjoyed it, or we enjoyed very much. So, dear listener, I will try to understand, try to teach you a use of though, although, even though. subordinate conjunction is not only using completed sentence, they will be used transformation of sentence, right form of verb and other is taking sentence. I have to try summarize today's class. Even though same meanings, but some emphasize or contracted or emphatic, even though, then, though and although. Understand? And remember this structure: though, although, even though, plus subordinate clause, plus put a comma, plus main clause. Other way, or main clause plus though, although, even though, plus subordinate clause. If you remember this, you will be benefited. I hope. I will try my level best. Today's end of the classes. Khuda Hafiz.